organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, find out what local program is helping victims with a new director.
And in Spotlight Wednesday, why easy healing for clubfoot comes with a cost.
And in sports,
the volleyball season is over. We take a look at what's in store for the future.
Daily Iowan TV starts now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Mary Caldwell.
And I'm Michelle Nago.
Today, the Iowa Board of Regents voted to freeze tuition for resident undergraduate students attending Iowa's 3 public universities. This will be the 3rd straight tuition freeze for students. Regents approved the freeze on the condition that Iowa lawmakers increase university funding next spring.
On Tuesday, 2 UI campus police were assaulted on the UI Pendercrest after arresting a young man who disturbed classes on campus. Reports described 20-year-old Daquan E. Miles harassing people in campus buildings. Police found Miles on the Pendercrest and placed handcuffs on him before he kicked and stomped on their feet. Daquan was initially arrested for violating a UI property restraining order.
Last night, the Iowa City Council approved to publicly fund a new apartment complex being built on Riverside Drive. The council voted unanimously for a 96-unit complex to receive $1.8 million in tax increment financing. The building will be for non-undergraduate students.
Tuesday, the UI Graduate and Professional Student Government voted to create a student safety chair. The new chair will create campus-wide safety initiatives. The position is in response to campus sexual assaults. GPSG President Alyssa Billmeyer told us, quote, "This isn't just about having fewer sexual assaults on campus. It's also to make sure students are comfortable seeking help. No one should have to cope with the experience alone."
The Rape Victim Advocacy Program also helps in the response for sexual assault victims in Iowa City. Daily Iowan TV's Taylor Smith met with the program's new director.
Every 2 minutes, another American is sexually assaulted. Each year, there are about 237,868 victims of sexual assault. The Rape Victim Advocacy Program is saying hello to its new executive director, Jennifer Carlson. She elucidates some of the plans that the RVAP have in store.
We work children through adulthood, right, and even into elder abuse situations as well. What we know from the CDC reports is your primary age for female victimization is between 15 and 24.
Carlson shares some of the experiences that victims of sexual assault have had to go through.
Each survivor, be it male or female, young or old, it doesn't matter, but their experience is so incredibly individualized, but also so communal. And so that individual may think that no one has ever experienced anything I've ever experienced before. The way I feel is singular and no one could possibly understand. Until you start to work with many survivors and then you understand that they may all feel like they're on an island, but they're all there together, they just can't see each other.
But what does the RVAP plan on doing in order to bring sexual assault to an end?
We are continuing to expand our primary prevention programming, and part of that is by utilizing the very generous funds that the University of Iowa released this year to allow us to have a full-time campus primary prevention specialist.
As the new director of the RVAP, Jennifer Carlson and her team are dedicated to creating a culture where sexual assault will one day come to an end. Taylor Smith, Daily Iowan TV.
Stay with us and see how one organization is helping children with clubfoot.
And your latest in Hawkeye sports. Michelle, it was a lot warmer out today than it has been lately.
It was. There was a lot less wind, which I'm happy about. So let's throw it over to Abby Meyer in the weather studio. Abby?
Hey guys, well, I think I have some bad news ahead. But first, one interesting fact of the day. Today, the White House commended 16 U.S. cities for their efforts to address climate change. And Dubuque, Iowa was recognized for addressing flooding issues. If Dubuque wins, they'll receive data tools and a coordinator to help access federal funds. But moving into the forecast, I hope you soaked up as much sun as you could today, because the next few days look a little gloomy. Starting tomorrow morning, we will begin at 23 degrees, and throughout most of the day, the sky will be covered in an overcast. In the afternoon, it will warm up to 32 degrees. Moving into the evening temperatures, it will stay around the lower 30s. As we progress through the week, the temps will slowly climb into the mid to upper 30s with a small chance of precipitation. Sunday, we will see our highest temps, which will reach 36 degrees. These temps are still below normal, but at least the winds have lightened up. Stay warm out there, folks. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Abby. And today, a New York grand jury decided not to indict a white NYC police officer who put a black man in a chokehold before his death. On July 17th, Officer Daniel Pantaleo and police attempted to arrest unarmed 43-year-old Eric Garner after they suspected he was selling cigarettes illegally. The NYC Police Department prohibits chokeholds. Medical examiners ruled Garner's death a homicide.
Just shortly after Eric Garner's death in July, protests around the country occurred when Michael Brown died. After the grand jury's decision not to indict Darrell Wilson, Brown's stepfather, Louis Heads, yelled comments that police say might have sparked a crowd reaction. Today, Heads apologized for those comments, and police are investigating whether the comments incited the crowd to loot and burn buildings.
Clubfoot affects 200,000 people around the world, but thanks to the work of a UI orthopedic doctor, the birth defect can be easily fixed with foot braces. In tonight's Spotlight, I found out how one organization is making the braces affordable. Whether he's dribbling a ball down a court, flying down mountain slopes, or dominating on the tennis court, 15-year-old Joshua Egbert is an all-star athlete. But before he could even run, you probably wouldn't guess that when Joshua was born, his parents had no idea if he would ever be able to walk because their son was diagnosed with severe club feet.
I was very worried about, what is this and what does this mean?
In these cases, the foot is completely turning like that. And so the patient is walking instead of in the sole of the foot is actually walking on the top of the foot like that.
At 2.5 months, Joshua's feet were fixed thanks to the non-surgical casting method developed by UI doctor Ignacio Poncetti 50 years earlier. With a $3,000 price tag, Dr. Jose Merquende knew the full treatment was unfeasible for the 80% of clubfoot patients living in developing countries. So in 2009, Merquende co-founded Clubfoot Solutions as a nonprofit organization that will begin to mass distribute custom-designed affordable braces to those regions.
That price then is impossible to pay for a high quality brace, so they have to use local materials.
Instead of using a metal brace, the new Iowa brace uses a durable and flexible plastic that snaps right into the shoe made of state-of-the-art material called neoprene.
It's a very nice and soft from the inside and it's breathable. The idea is that every child anywhere in the world can have a brace that is affordable for the families.
News the Egberts as parents cannot wait to share.
We get that same feeling each time we meet with other parents of giving them hope that their child will be okay.
The organization plans to ship around 30,000 Iowa braces to countries around the world.
Now we have Daily Iowan Arts Editor Emma McClatchy standing by in the newsroom with your Daily Iowan 80 Hours preview. Emma?
Hi guys. Well, as usual, there's a lot to see in this week's 80 Hours. Our front story for this week will be the new UI main stage show, their first main stage production of the year called Striking 12. It's a comedy, a musical, and it has a holiday twist on it, so there's a lot to see there for fans of any kind of genre. Another big production going on this weekend is the Nolte Academy's Nutcracker Show, which will include a much cuter, smaller crowd. That premieres at the Englert this weekend. So there's all that and more in this week's 80 Hours. You can check it out right in the middle of your paper. So yeah, check it out and have a good weekend.
Thanks, Emma. And in sports tonight, the What It Takes segment is back this week to take a look at an up-and-coming Hawkeye club sport.
That's right, Michelle. We'll now toss it over to Taylor Bartz and Austin Luce in the sports studio. Guys?
Thanks, ladies. A jam-packed show to you for tonight as the Hawkeye volleyball team has concluded their 2014 season and are already looking forward to next year.
Daily Iowan TV sports reporter Zach Mackey has been covering the volleyball team all year and got the chance to see what the future holds for this talented group.
All eyes were on the Iowa volleyball program with a brand new head coach, and a lot of excitement has come from the program this year.
This season was definitely a positive, and we kind of going into it just looking at all right, there's a whole new system coming through, and we're going to see what we can do. I took away a lot of growth from this season. As a transfer, I just wanted to see how things were going to go and mesh, and like from being a sophomore to a junior and upperclassman, I just learned how to step up and be a leader and compete at a high level.
Things were different this year for the Hawkeyes than in years past.
Last season, at the end of the year, it was more of kind of a relief to be done, whereas this year we were focusing on finishing strong and playing together as a team, whereas last year it wasn't like that.
With 4 freshmen getting a majority of playing time throughout the year, the future is definitely bright for this Hawkeye group.
We're returning, a lot of starters and stuff, so I think that'll help us next year, and we have a lot of time to work in the off season and stuff, and we're getting a lot of good recruits too, so that'll be good.
And Coach Szymanski is already out scouting the territory, getting some new big recruits for next year's squad.
Our coaches work day in and day out for what this program and what it can be, and it's nothing but exciting knowing the mysteries that hide behind all the corners, who may be coming, what else we may be reverting to, anything to make this the winning program it should be.
For Daily Iowan TV Sports, I'm Zach Mackey.
The Hawks finished 14-17 on the season, but returned multiple starters and role players for next year's team in hopes of improving on that record.
One team that does not get a lot of recognition among high-profile Hawkeye sports is our feature for this edition of our What It Takes segment.
That's right, Austin. Daily Iowan TV sports reporter Taylor Mathis caught up with a member of the UI's club hockey team to see what it takes to make this club successful.
Ice, skates, a puck, and a stick are a few of the things you need for the sport of hockey. As hockey is becoming one of the fastest growing sports in America, more and more people are trying out the tough game. I sat down with the University of Iowa club hockey team to see what it takes to be a successful player on the Ice Hawk squad.
When you strap your skates on, there's nothing better. There's nothing, all their stress, everything goes away for that 60 minutes when you're on the ice. I was actually contacted by the club to come down and near field. I kind of just took a shot in the dark and came out. It seemed like a great fit for both sides. Been a match made in heaven for 4 years now. You want to make them better than when they came in. I've been very lucky. I've been able to coach some of these guys for 4 years and seen where they were at as freshmen, coming in now to be some of the best players in the league. And sacrifice for me is pretty much the biggest thing. Sacrificing your body, your time, everything for your teammates. Being able to battle adversity. There's a lot of things thrown at you, road trips, all these different guys coming in. And it's being able to battle every single night and having that heart.
Left wing, so that means forward, I try to score goals. I normally attack from the left side of the ice. The other forward positions are right wing and center. It takes a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. All the guys on the team have been playing since we were really young, and we basically put our lives into the game. When things aren't going your way, you still got to work your hardest and try and find a way to get the job done.
I play center, so I'm down low and in the D zone, breaking the puck out with the D, and then I'll be floating around in the offensive zone trying to get the puck in the net. I'd say the most difficult thing is the highs and lows. Some weekends you're on fire, and some weekends you can't do anything right. Everybody on the ice has got to be competitive. If you're not competitive, you're not going to be on the ice. You got to really have that drive to win. Some guys won't do what it takes, and they don't make it. You got to work hard, and you got to sacrifice a lot of time. It's one of those sports where you're at the rink, but you're away from your friends and family all the time. Favorite thing about this sport is camaraderie. I come out on the ice every night with 21 brothers, and wouldn't change that for the world. You win, you lose with the same guys every week.
The Ice Hawks will be taking on Lindenwood Belleville at the Coral Ridge Ice Arena this weekend. Taylor and Austin, back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks for that, Taylor. Well, that'll do it for us here in the sports studio. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night where we will be previewing the upcoming Hawkeye wrestling meet against the Michigan State Spartans.
Along with that, we will have a preview of the men's basketball team's game at home against an unfamiliar opponent.
Mary and Michelle, back to you guys at the desk.
And make sure to grab a copy of the Daily Iowan tomorrow.
In headlines, check out why Kirkwood Community College is stopping their horse science program.
And read about a new 15-story student housing complex that the Iowa City City Council approved. That's all we have for you tonight on Daily Iowan TV. Make sure to tune in tomorrow night at 9 for the latest news.
And always stay updated online at dailyiowan.com. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great night.